What I want to write about today is so incredibly difficult to describe verbally. I'm so tempted to sit down at the piano, plunge my hands onto the keyboard, and pour it all out in a whimsical sequence of sounds. Plaintive, ominous, anxious, softly groaning, and tumultuously condemning. But alas, mute and powerless are my stiff fingers, and the cold, distant piano will long remain silent. So I gotta write my nocturnes and elegies, not on 5 but on 1 line, quickly drawing out a paragraph after paragraph, a page after page. Oh, great are the innumerable opportunities, the wonderful accomplishments hidden in word. But not when one's soul cringes at a sober, realistic prose. Not when it demands sound, frantic, stormy movement of an insane hand on the keys. Here then is my symphony, weak, pale, in word. When the dull twilight descends upon the feeble city, which, exhausted by hunger, wearily closes its faded, its once sparkly eyes. When everything grows quiet, save for the commissar's autos, cheerfully darting about, piercing like sharp awls the dark, blind thoroughfares. Then, several drab figures assemble in an apartment on Litany Avenue and sit around an empty table, illuminated only by thievish light of a tallow candle end. For a while they say nothing. They're out of their breath from several gigantic efforts in a row. They had to walk up the stairs to the 2nd floor, shake trembling hands, and move their chairs closer to the table. Such unbearable work! Cold air is blowing through a broken window, but nobody can block it off with a pillow. All they can do is sit around the table in a guttering candle and speak in a quiet, quiet murmur. Whose turn is it today? Mine. No way. Yours was the day before yesterday. You talked about macaroni and minced beef. That was Ilya Petrovich who talked about macaroni. My report was on Friday, on veal cutlets and cauliflower. Well, then it is your turn. Attention, gentlemen. 5 years ago, I remember it as if it were yesterday, I ordered fried navaga and Hamburg-style steak at Albert's. There were 4 pieces of navaga, large pieces, fried in breadcrumbs and butter. Do you understand, gentlemen? Real butter! On one side lay a large clump of fried parsley. On the other, half a lemon. A nice bright yellow lemon which is slightly brighter on the side where it's been cut. You could just take it and squeeze some lemon juice onto the fish. But I did it like this. I would take a fork and a piece of bread. They served both white and dark, I swear, and deftly separate the thick sides of the navaga from the bone. Navaga has only one bone, shaped like a triangle, interjected a neighbor, panting. Shh! Don't Well, I would pour me a shot of vodka and only then squirt some lemon juice onto the fish. I would put some parsley on top, all exclusively for the aroma. Drink the vodka and immediately swallow some fish, yup! And the fourth piece of fish, I didn't even finish it, ha ha! You didn't finish it? Don't look at me like that, gentlemen. Don't forget, the Hamburg-style steak still lay ahead. Do you know what it means, Hamburg-style? Is that with omelette on top? Exactly! The steak was soft and juicy, yet resilient. Slightly more well done on one side, slightly rawer on the other. And there were lots and lots of beef gravy, real thick too. And I loved taking a slice of bread, dipping it into the gravy, and together with a tender piece of meat down the hatch. Were there no French fries? Moaned somebody. That's the whole point. There were. But of course, we haven't gotten there yet. There were also some horseradish spears and some capers, and on the other side of the table, almost half the dish was taken up by fried, diced potatoes. Damn if I know why they soak up that beef gravy so well. The neighbor emitted a muffled roar, sprang up to his feet, and took the speaker by the collar, crying, "Beer! How could you have not washed that steak down with some strong, foamy beer?" The speaker jumped up in ecstasy as well, and said, "Of course, a large, huge mug of beer with foam so thick it stays on your mustache. I would swallow some meat and some fries and dive into that mug." Someone in the far corner started softly sobbing. No, not beer. You shouldn't have had beer, but red wine. They had such great Burgundy, 3.50 a pound, slightly wormed. You pour some into a glass, look at it against the light. A ruby, a real ruby. A fierce strike on the table interrupted the flow of incited whispering. "Gentlemen, what have we become? Look at you! Are you men? You're a bunch of lustful old men Karamazovs! All night long you salivate over what a bunch of thugs and murderers have taken away from you. You have been deprived of something that every person has a right to, the right to stuff their stomach according to one's simplest tastes. And there are many of you, hundreds of thousands. Why in the world do you tolerate this? Go out, all the hungry, pour onto the streets in hungry, desperate mobs. Crawl like locusts that can stop a train dead in its track with its very sheer multitude. Trample this gang, destroy them, tear out their throats, and you will have meat, bread, and potatoes. Yes, fried in real butter, full of aroma. Ha ha ha! Hooray! We're many! Let's go! I will personally catch Trotsky, push him down to the ground, walk on his face, and poke his eye out with this very finger. I will cut his ear off with my penknife and shove it down his throat. Now let him eat that! And so they ran. They ran for a very long time and covered very long distance. The strongest and fastest reaching the front door, others falling, some by the table in the kitchen, still some in the living room. They did all they could. Oh, God knows they really tried. But the gigantic effort sapped their strength, and they all collapsed, like a fire, taken apart, log by log. The speaker crawled over to his neighbor and whispered, "But you know what? If Trotsky were to give me a little piece of pork with gruel, I wouldn't trample him. I wouldn't cut his ear off. I'd forgive him." "No," whispered back the neighbor. "Not pork. How about some chicken? So tender that the white meat easily peels off the bone. And some cooked rice to it, with slightly tangy sauce." The 1001st hungry night was over. The 1001st hungry morning hobbled along to take its place.